Alright guys, here we are, we're down at the Sahara Desert. This is our halfway point of the entire challenge, as we were calling it part one of the challenge, because part one was to go to the Sahara Desert. Part two is actually to get the bikes home again. We were just chatting amongst ourselves about the entire journey and how it all started. Kind of started in a pub, really, didn't it?
It started when we were away on the Iberian Peninsula.
That's it, when we were circumnavigating the Iberian Peninsula and we were in a pub there. Was it Faro we were in?
We were in Faro.
It was in a bar in Faro and we had a few beers and that's when it started, I think. And we both kind of laughed and I kind of got a bit scared because he agreed to it so quickly. You know?
So you said it rather than thought it.
Yeah. But so we finished off that trip, and all we could talk about along that trip was what we were going to do in this one and how we were going to go about it, and what was killing us most, actually, if you remember correctly, was that we couldn't actually look up Dundee.
Yeah, and we can't look it up here either.
We can't look it up here either, no.
Yeah, that's right. Out of Ireland, can't get it.
So we had to wait till we got home to look up Dundee, and that was really a killer, that was, you know. But once we got home, then, like, we had...
Well, the challenge anyway was...
Yeah, well, the challenge was to buy bikes, spend no more than €1,500.
Yeah. Whether we need to do it up, we have to obviously need to buy it cheaper. Yeah.
And ride them to the Sahara Desert and back.
Yeah.
Right? We were allowed to tinker with them to make them safe. But it was shocking, actually alarming, how quick you actually jumped to buy a bike. Because you got yours within a week or two we got home.
I did. I saw the right bike.
And I was there kind of going, oh shit, what am I going to do? And then the pressure was on.
Yeah. Even though, I mean, you're right, it was only shortly after we got home and it was a year later.
Yeah.
We had a year, actually,
to
buy a bike. So get ready.
Anyway, so Damien bought Honda Pan-European 1100cc,
1992.
1992.
One of the early ones.
Yeah. And it was in fabulous condition, I have to say. A couple of little jobs we had to do on it, like the exhaust had to be welded.
Yeah,
and
there's no cost in that.
We had to do the shocks, didn't we? The front shocks. We had to put seals on them.
Yeah, they came with it, actually.
Yeah,
they came with it.
And
a new tyre. I got a new tyre.
And you got the tyre put on it as well.
Yeah, as a favour.
Then I obviously had to try and find a different bike, so it wouldn't be any fun if we were on the same bike. So I got the BMW RT 1100 1998. Bit rough around the edges, I have to say.
Rough as fuck.
Rough. But I got a good deal on it. The guy wanted, I think he wanted €1,900 or something, and I got it for 50.
I've never seen that ad, yeah.
Yeah, so I got a good deal on it. Brought it home, and of course I was allowed to tinker with it and use whatever I had in the garage, but couldn't actually go out and buy it and to put on it. So the tyres just about get me back. Yeah.
Depends on how much of the TT we're going to do in Spain on the way home.
I know, we'll have to see that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my bike wasn't running for about 4 days before the journey. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Showed you the photographs. I couldn't get the engine running because I had to do a bit of work on it, and it wouldn't start. And it was in about 1 million bits, but we got it going, and with much relief, because other than that I was going to have to go on the other bike. But anyway, so we headed off. Then we got the ferry then from Rosslare across to Bilbao, and it was 2 nights in the ferry, which was a bit of a bummer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
You know,
not great. Probably in this case a bit rough, isn't it?
No, and it was a smaller boat. Like the one they have on now is better, so we'd be going back on a better ship. But the one they had on was a bit shitty now. It really was small, and there was not much to do on it. Although we met a group of
bikers from Cork.
Shout out to all the lads there from Glanmire.
Yep. And the dub.
And the dub.
There was a dub.
The Glanmire dub, yeah. And we had a bit crack with them on the boat, like, you know. They were going off doing a trip around the Picos, I think, wasn't it? In Spain, yeah.
Yeah.
So we headed across for Barcelona. We got just a little north of Barcelona, a place called, was it Lloret de Mar or something?
Yes.
Yeah, Lloret de Mar. And a couple of days there, Damien had a thing to do there, so we waited for a few days around, just chilling. And then we got a ferry from Barcelona to Tangier Med. And that ferry was 2 nights as well.
Yes, 30 hours.
Yeah, 30 hours in the ferry, and that was even worse than the first ferry because it was absolutely full of Moroccans.
Yeah.
The
only entertainment on board was mad loud Moroccan music.
It was
You
mad,
put some of that up,
traditional Moroccan music, yeah, it was horrible. The food wasn't great on it. The alcohol was hard to get, and they were all praying all over the place. But an interesting thing happened on that ferry going across. David.
Okay. So it was our birthdays. It's our birthdays 10 days apart. My birthday end of September, Neil's early October. So my daughter Cassie gave me a surprise present. She had made up 2 t-shirts for the trip. So we, on the side of our bikes, we've got Dublin to the Sahara. Dublin 2D, possibly Sahara. And Cassie took this on board and went off and got t-shirts designed with the map, a small one on the front, big one on the back, a map of, we'll be able to put up a link probably.
Yeah, we did put pictures,
Because we got a couple of photographs of those. I hid them, put them away in my gear, and the day we were on the ferry heading for Tangier was actually Neil's birthday.
It was my birthday, yeah.
So I produced them that morning, one for each of us. We put them on. And I think I remember we were getting breakfast and one of the guys spotted and had said something wrong with whatever.
Yeah.
So that was fine. 2 things we had to do on the ferry was go to report to the police and report to the customs. So we're bringing in the bike temporarily. So we did that, got that stamped, and then went over to the police, and straight away he copped it. So he looked specifically at Neil's t-shirt and said, no, that's not right.
He said, can I take a photograph? And I went, yeah, sure, no problem. Thinking he just was taking a photograph. It was a decent looking t-shirt. You know, with like good writing and stuff on it. Like, no. Yeah. Yeah,
so the next thing, we were on the ferry. We noticed some Italians. Most people were actually out on the deck. It was gorgeous. It was like a Mediterranean cruise. And we noticed some Italian, a lot of bikers there, putting some t-shirts into a bag.
Yeah.
Next thing we noticed, the policeman found us.
But what was killing me was like that these fellas were actually taking their t-shirts off and putting them all into the one bag. And I was thinking, how are they going to sort them out later?
Yeah. Until we were told to do the same thing.
Yeah, the policeman came up the steps and he came straight over to us and he said that the t-shirt wasn't allowed. That he didn't even explain why it wasn't allowed.
Yeah, well, he was in French. He was in our pidgin French anyway. He didn't speak English.
So it wasn't allowed, and that we had to take the t-shirts off and put them in a plastic bag.
And they were going to be taken.
And then when we got off the ship, then that the policeman, a different policeman, would take them off us.
They didn't realise it was a far bigger event than we thought it was.
Yeah. So
when we were leaving the ship, there were probably 100 bikes.
Easy.
We knew that we were to hand over this bag.
Yeah.
The Italians were going to hand over their bag.
Yeah.
But what actually happened was all the bikes were corralled into one area.
Yeah.
Getting off the ferry, everyone else was allowed, and 100 bikes were there, not knowing what was going on. We were the only ones that knew what was going on. So the police, maybe 20 or 30 of those, going around uniform, plain clothes, all with a picture of our insignia.
That's right. Yeah.
Our logo. Who's got these? Who's got these?
Yeah,
so we handed them over.
And then they went to the Italian guys.
Yeah.
And they asked the Italian guys for the t-shirts, and the Italian guys said no problem. And your man was saying, who's with you? And he was pointing out them, and then he handed the bag, and there was 10 t-shirts in it, and because there was 10 of them, and that was grand. So then we all moved up to passport control, wasn't it, first?
Yeah.
and we went through passport control. Then we went up to customs. And when you get to customs, you have to wait there, and they check the bike and they check the documents, and they bring out a little card and they give you this card, which is like a passport for the bike. So we were there anyway. So next minute, the police arrived, and detectives, plainclothes detectives, and they came over and they were talking to us about, where did you get the t-shirts? Who made them? Where did you buy them? All this kind of stuff. But then the Italians, that was funny with the Italians.
Yeah.
So the Italians were there, and next minute they start stripping the Italians' bikes, going through their luggage. They found another 10 t-shirts, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In their luggage. So they went, oh, here. They waved us on, and they hung on to them.
That was the last we saw of those guys.
We never saw them again.
Well, the thing about just for anyone interested in, the actual logo showed Morocco.
Yeah,
however, there's an area at the bottom of Morocco
Yeah.
that it wasn't showing, and that's called the Western Sahara.
The Western Sahara is actually owned by Morocco, but apparently Algeria are trying to claim it, and there's friction down that end. But Google have it wrong, because if you Google the map of Morocco,
It brought up what she...
it leaves out the Western Sahara part. Yeah.
So it's inevitable. It's probably like showing Ireland without Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
That was the issue.
Yeah. That was the issue. Anyway, we got through there, and we headed on, and it was now dark, and we're going through Tangier. And we stayed in a really nice little hotel there in Tangier. Yeah. So the next morning, anyway. So we're coming out of the hotel the next morning, and I'm packing up stuff onto the bike, and next minute Damien goes, oh, what's that on the ground? Look, it's leaking oil. And I went, I couldn't be leaking oil. There's nothing wrong. I was only working on it 4 or 5 days ago. It's not leaking oil. And I went and had a look, and he goes, yeah, look, there it is there. And I put my finger down to it, and I thought maybe it was the overflow of the petrol from, when the tank pressurizes in the heating. And I thought, maybe it could be a drop of petrol, or I had to choke on, maybe it came out of the overflow. And he's going, no, it's definitely oil. And it was only then that I twigged. Yeah. Bollicky Bill there decides to pour a drop of oil on the ground near my centre stand, make it look like it leaked out of my bike. And him laughing his fucking head off, Oh, but where do we go from there then? We went down towards Rabat then, didn't we?
We did a night in Rabat, and then we decided we weren't making up an awful lot of time.
Yeah.
We got on the motorway, and it was the best thing we did actually. We
Yeah.
got a good day's riding done there, heading for Marrakesh.
We got a good day's riding going from Marrakesh, we did. And then
30 kilometres outside.
30 kilometres outside of Marrakesh, and we're up in these hills.
In wasteland.
And it was complete in the middle of nowhere, right? And I came down to a stop sign.
Yeah.
And I was going along the bike, and I was thinking to myself, just Damien's riding along with his headlight on. I'll tell him when he stops. So I pull up the stop sign, and I waited for him. And he pulls up the stop sign beside me, and all I heard was, put. And I looked at him and goes, did your bike just cut out? And he had to say yes. He didn't want to, but he wanted to see the face of it. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Cut out, died.
So in case anyone has missed that, it was the Honda that broke down, okay?
Oh yeah, we've got to say.
That was karma. That was karma.
Everybody we spoke to before we left,
everybody,
bar none, said that the BMW was the one that was
even the Landmar Constabulary, even they said that the Honda would make it and the BMW would die.
That was the odds on
so, I wouldn't be known to be, a bit of a slagger, but anyway,
you laughed your bollocks off.
I did laugh my arse off. I wasn't letting that one go.
Jesus, everyone has seen that fucking video.
That video went viral. There's even lads in Germany looking at that one. So anyway, so we were on the side of the road. We're on the side of the road, and it was in the middle of nowhere, and 30 kilometres left to go to the campsite there in Marrakesh, and we're kind of going, what are we going to do? But before we left, Damien had the bright ideas to bring a couple of straps, luggage straps.
For tow ropes.
To use as a tow rope, because you can use them as luggage straps or tow rope or whatever. And that actually was bloody brilliant, because other than that, we were screwed.
Yeah, 2 old bikes, chances are one, if not both, will break it down, but not at the same time.
I've never towed a bike before.
Oh. I've never been on a bike that was towed before.
Really?
Yeah.
That was the funny thing, because I was going along and I was really careful, and I got along really tense and careful, right?
Yeah.
And I look in my mirror and there's a fella that's at the back with his phone up like this, videoing around everywhere.
Yeah, well, you have to.
And
you
I'm
have to do
shitting
it.
myself.
I know.
And you just...
It's actually hard to hold on to a big bike with one hand
Yeah.
while I'm filming. But anyway, it worked.
So anyway, towing a
That's
bike,
great video.
and I just have to say, do not tow a bike with a bike.
Oh,
It
terrible.
is lethal.
It's deadly.
I don't know how we didn't fall off the things.
Mm.
You know, it was really tough.
Yeah.
But we fell on our feet, didn't we?
Yeah, well, lucky enough we didn't have to go through the city.
Yeah.
We were on the right side of that city,
Right
for the
side,
campsite.
yeah.
We rocked up there, and the guy that owns it, the French guy, didn't bat an eyelid. He
Yeah.
said, "Oh right, yeah, Irish guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, you look like locals."
He did say,
Towing
yeah.
a bike.
He was cool, wasn't he?
He was very
By the way,
cool.
the place we stayed in was a place called Le Relais de Marrakesh. It's a hotel, camping, blah blah blah, and it is an oasis in what is generally an absolute wasteland.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. if you
So
understand
it's an oasis. It's absolutely fabulous.
something. I highly recommend it.
They have these like Bedouin style little cottages and things that you stay in, like, and there's swim pool, bar, restaurant, the whole lot. It's fabulous. You can get the bus into the town from there, and it's only,
Oh, we got the bus.
it was only 2 cents or something. I think.
We got the local
Yeah,
bus
we
one
got
day.
the local bus, and they were all looking at us. Yeah. So anyway, we got there, and we said to Jesse, like, was there any? Jesse was the guy who owns it, and we said to him, was there any motorcycle shops around looking for parts? And he said, yeah, there's one down the road. And he told us where it was, and he said that he'd give us a loan of a trailer to bring the bike into the motorcycle shop. And then we were kind of saying, yeah, well, but we don't have a car to tow it. And he goes, no problem, take the Hummer.
Yeah.
So
I never even been in a Hummer.
No,
and
neither was
here
I.
I am driving the bloody
yeah,
thing.
I know, so we got the Hummer, like, you know, it was a good crack, like. So the bike was in there for how many days was it there?
Oh, we dropped it in, I think, on a Thursday. We didn't get it back till Monday at least, and
Yeah.
by then they had decided or found out
Yeah,
that
they couldn't do
the
it.
part is not available anywhere in Morocco. Tried Casablanca.
Yeah, and they
There
were
was
kind
even a
of
spare bike there. Remember, there was a
Yeah.
Honda 750 there that if that had fitted,
Yeah.
I would have done some kind of a deal with it.
but they were there kind of saying that
The regulator.
that
Sorry,
they
regulator.
couldn't import the part, but we could.
Uh-huh.
So we kind of looked into that, and it would have taken 10, 12 days or maybe longer to get the part in through customs and everything else. So decisions had to be made.
Yeah.
So we brought the bike back, got the trailer again. This time we didn't have the Hummer, we had a van.
Oh yeah.
We got the bike back to the campsite, and Jesse said, sure, yeah, leave them here. So we got onto Ryanair and we bought
Yeah.
tickets and we flew home.
4 hours later, we were home.
Now we parked the bikes in the campsite, like just right beside, well, just across from reception area. But I mean, they were just parked, like they weren't locked.
Well, that's part two of the story then.
Yeah, but they weren't locked, right?
No, that's true.
We didn't lock them. We didn't put steering locks or anything like that. We literally just put them on the centre stands and left them there.
Yeah.
So we flew home, and then Damien you were able to get the parts then online.
I bought two of them.
Yeah.
I actually bought two.
So after that, then we had arranged to come back 21st of February just gone, and we flew into Marrakesh, and we got a taxi from the airport out to the campsite. Cost €30, and there were the bikes.
Yeah.
Now, before we go into that, we just have to say that the general consensus at home was that the bikes weren't going to be there, wasn't it?
Everyone said that.
Everyone said the bikes, they're not going to be there when you get there.
Yeah.
But we were confident, weren't we?
Well, yeah, we knew exactly where they were.
Yeah, but we did have a plan B option.
Yeah.
Plan B option was we were going to have to buy bikes here if we weren't there. Thankfully, that didn't happen because you should see the state of the bikes over here.
Jesus.
Well, anyway, so the bikes were there, and he had some sort of a covering over them, kind of half-arse covering, like. But
I think it was a curtain.
they were manky, weren't they? They were absolutely manky.
Yeah.
And I had to know, would my bike start? So it was late, it was dark, I went over, turned the key, pulled the choke, and boom, first hit, wasn't it? And she started. Now, obviously, I put too much choke on it, so it stopped again. But it started after 4 months sitting there. So the next morning, then we got up and we went to your bike, didn't we? And
put in a new battery.
Because
spoiled the battery.
The battery was spoiled.
Absolutely boiled. Had to get rid of the battery before we left.
Swelled out and everything.
Yeah. But the battery last October before we left.
That's right.
Left it inside the that we put on the regulator.
Yeah.
Bypass some block connector, and she fired up straight away.
She fired up, and that was a bit of relief, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, so then we kind of had the 2 bikes running, and we got them washed, ish.
Yeah.
Like you always wash the bike a hell of a lot better than I do. I hate washing bikes.
I know.
I hate it. Just hate it. Yeah. And then the next morning, we got our insurance sorted out.
Yeah.
And then we hit the road. And where did we end up then?
First night we went up into the mountains.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the place we went.
Can't think of the name of it.
See, we stopped in so many places, it's hard to remember them.
Yeah.
But so we've been hop skipping and jumping basically along, and the whole idea was to get up into the mountains from Marrakesh and see the high Atlas Mountains, and then come down and go along Daddy's Gorge and then to the Sahara Desert. So effectively that's what we've done. We've just done it over a couple of days. Last night was interesting. We were in a little riad in a place called Knob. Nkob.
Yeah.
I don't care. Anyone looking at it, it's Knob.
It's Knob to us.
Right.
We stayed in Knob. Yeah.
So
the Knob shop next door.
We stayed in Knob Hotel.
And the Knob shop was next door.
There was a Knob shop next door.
Yeah.
There was a Knob supermarket.
Yeah.
Ish, yeah. A Knob Main Street.
Yes.
Yep.
Main Street Knob.
Yep. And there was a shop down the road, a hardware shop called Knob's Knockers. So we were there and we had food, and in this place the little the owner of the place, we were the only ones staying there.
Yeah.
And the owner came out and we had a dinner there, and then we were kind of drinking wine, and then we hit the Captain Morgan's, and then after a little while then the owner was unconscious with his head down on the table. We were still there taking pictures of him and stuff. Yeah, he was only a little lad, but he was unconscious, he was. So we left there this morning and we headed for Merzouga, which is where we currently are. And Merzouga is right on the desert. We stopped twice on the way and we had coffee. Yeah. And we met your pal.
You bought a brass camel?
I bought a brass camel. I did. Yeah. And he was a bit of a Berber, so there was a bit of haggling going on, which was a bit of crack. Then Damien had picked out the place to go on the
quads.
The quads.
Oh.
Yeah.
We went straight there.
We went straight to the quads, and by God, the quads on the Sahara Desert, up in the dunes, bouncing from dune to dune. It was just amazing, wasn't it?
Fabulous. It was what an idea. Great idea. I mean, look, a lot of people would say jump on the camels and go on whatever, but they don't have the engines.
Not bad for two 60-year-olds.
They were 350cc Yamaha quads. They were great.
They were decent quads. The one thing that got me was that they were only rear-wheel drive. I thought they'd be four-wheel drive.
I know.
Because
nearly got stuck.
Well, I got stuck once, and you got bogged down.
I got completely bogged down once. Your man, the guy with us, he had to come back.
You mean the 9-year-old?
Yeah. He was eating like a lollipop when he arrived.
There was the guide that was guiding us was like 9 years of age or something like that. Actually, he was a bit older, but anyway, he looked 9. And what you call it? That was just sublime. It really was. It was fabulous,
Yeah.
And we've put up a lot of videos and stuff of it on Facebook, so you'll see it on our respective pages. After that, then we came to the hotel.
Yeah.
And this is the hotel
This is
we're
a
in.
5-star hotel.
It is a hotel called Les Ports
Du
du Desert.
Yes.
Les Ports du Desert.
Yeah. The door to the desert.
It's a 5-star hotel, and it's like less than €40
Cheap as chips.
a night
Yeah.
for the two of us. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so cheap, it's incredible. So we had food here, and we had a couple of beers. Then we walked down the town, get the steps in, of course, you know.
As you do.
And then we managed to buy some wine, so we're currently sitting having a drop of wine.
That's pretty much up to date.
Now, where do we go from here?
Well, it depends on how much more you want to record.
Well, we still have to get the bikes back, but
Yeah.
I think we'll leave it there for the moment, and we'll do another video maybe when we're on the ferry or something, or before we get to the ferry.
Oh, yeah, another maybe, yeah.
In Spain, we'll do another one in Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
The TET.
well, the TET, that's another section.
Yeah,
But
because
we have another 4 or 5 days to do here.
yeah.
So there's going to be
Yeah.
a lot happening there.
But so far, I'd have to say that the BMW is hands down the best bike of the two.
Well, apart from the breakdown.
But the breakdown was a big thing, like.
Oh, well, it was,
Yeah, and the fact that the BMW had to tow it,
yeah.
right?
Right.
So that effectively means that the BMW hasn't failed, not once. So therefore, it is the best of the two bikes.
We've 5 days left. I fully expect it to break down.
Really?
I do.
You see, this is what I've had to put up with.
And then I'll be telling you when we see how that feels.
No, we don't want that to happen, don't we? Don't be putting the mockers on us. But anyway, so just to reiterate, BMW is the best bike of the two. Right, okay. Right, stay tuned for more, lads.